Well, that almost goes the correct distance. Almost rotates enough. Finally get the ceiling fan up. It took quite a few attachments. One of the attachments I couldn't even use all the way. Ended up using two different attachments combined together to make this work. I'll go through those attachments here in a minute. I know it's wobbling a little bit. I've got to balance it, but I'm thinking before I balance it, because it's kind of close here to the edge, one thing we didn't think about was the positioning of it. I wanted the ceiling fan kind of above this opening, but not too close to the chimney area. It's a little close to the side of the railing. When you step down one, you got plenty of clearance over your head, but it's also close to the ceiling on this side over here. I think we have 9 inches between the tip of the blade to the ceiling on that 45 pitch. What I thought about doing before I balance it is trimming the fan blades back maybe 2 inches. It'll decrease the airflow a little bit, but not significantly, I don't think. But it'll give me a little bit more headroom over here, even though I don't think I could hit my head on it. And a little bit more room toward the ceiling over there. Most ceiling fans are adjustable. Most of them that aren't just made to sit flat on a ceiling. Come with a bracket, looks something like this. Has a little kind of finger on it there that goes in the groove of this half moon or half ball shape. This sits on the pole. That sits in there, something like that. The little groove keeps it from spinning, so it holds it still. And you have a little bit of adjustability. I don't know how many degrees that is, but it's not a whole lot. Probably enough for the average ceiling. The first attachment we bought to make the ceiling fan work was kind of like this. It's actually up there right now, but the problem with it is that it has the same grooves going side to side where you screw this bracket into the ceiling. And the ceiling mount for a standard ceiling fan bracket that you put into new construction, it has 2 bars that go to your rafters, and it has a little metal box. Well, the little metal box, the screw holes that this goes in are at an angle. So this doesn't hang straight down. The problem with that is that ball won't hang straight down through the groove that's cut in that little dome piece, the cover piece, because it's sitting at an angle. So picture this being up there, sitting at an angle, the cutout is over here. It's not down at the bottom. First thing I thought is I bought the wrong ceiling fan bracket for my house when I built my house. So I went online and started looking through all the ceiling fan brackets. Every ceiling fan bracket, unless it bolts straight to a stud, every one that goes between two rafters has those bolts at an angle. They're not straight across. I don't know why. I don't know why this is a problem with ceiling fan manufacturers and the ceiling fan attachment manufacturers. This is the second bracket I bought. Comes with this guy, sits at an angle. It's got a notch cut out, so it'll come through the stock cover. This stock cover piece comes through there, and it can make it sit at more of an angle because it'll rest up against there. But not quite a 45. So this piece kind of fixed one problem. It made it adjustable so I could hang it straight. But this piece still didn't want to hang at a 45. I had it all up in there. I actually trimmed this off so this would all fit together, but it was too thick. It came into a bind before it actually would hang straight down. So this little bracket with the stock cover and its adjustable base still wouldn't work for my application. So what I came up with to fix this problem and put an end to me installing and uninstalling the ceiling fan, I don't know how many times. This little bracket right here that you can get at your local hardware store is for a ceiling light. It's called an adjustable crossbar kit. And it states on it that, where is it? The box must be supported directly by the building structure and be capable of supporting up to 50 pounds. I believe, yes, this crossbar has a 35-pound load rating and is adjustable from 3 7/8 to 5-inch for your lighting fixture installation needs. Not made for a ceiling fan. It says it'll hold 35 pounds up. My ceiling fan, I bought a couple of these because I've got 3 ceiling fans to put in and I want them all to hang straight. My ceiling fan, this ceiling fan right here, only weighs 18 pounds fully assembled. So it's well within the capacity for this bracket right here, even though this bracket is not recommended to use with a ceiling fan. This bracket let that bracket with the grooves cut in it straight across. This is off the stock fan, but the bracket that's in there right now is basically the same as this. It's a little bit taller, is all. But it's got these grooves cut straight across. This bracket lets that bracket sit straight across, lets the bar hang straight down in that groove. And I think this was $4. That hanging bracket was, I believe, $20. There is a bracket out there that I have not bought and I won't buy because I can't get an exploded view of how it's made. It's made by a company, can't remember the name of it right. I think it starts with a K. Kilcher? I'll post it up here somewhere. It's a ceiling fan bracket made for a ceiling fan to hang, I believe, up to a 60-degree ceiling. But I can't find an exploded view of this thing anywhere online. Even on their website, they won't show you what's inside the whole thing. All you see is it hanging from the ceiling. And since I had already bought a couple different pieces to try and make this all work, I wasn't willing to spend the $60 that they want for their bracket without knowing how it was built. I didn't want to have to go through the hassle of a return. All these parts right here that I bought, I'm just going to eat the price of it. They aren't that expensive. I figured out a solution. I'm happy. $60 was a little bit too much for me to fork out on the hopes that it would actually work with this bracket that's already up in the ceiling. Here's your stock bracket. Got a half ball sits in here, has a little bit of adjustment. Got your screws down here that hold your bezel on. I obviously cut this bezel off to try and make it work, but it has two holes here that line up with the screws, and that holds it down. This is the first aftermarket bracket that I bought, first or second, I can't remember. This one has a notch cut out so it can give you a little bit more of an angle. Slides in here. Get the wire out of the way. And you can get more of an angle coming down. I had to trim this, trim it down a little bit so it would sit right flat up against there. And you pop this centerpiece out. You get the holes here that you can screw down so this bezel will screw to this. And this bracket makes this bracket sit flat or sit level up against your ceiling because it doesn't have adjustment like this bracket does. This bracket almost got to sit level. It was just a little bit off. For the ceiling fan that I put on a 45-degree roof pitch, I used this metal bracket. Now I only used the main metal in here. I didn't use these extra little tabs. I just bolted that main piece of metal to the bracket that's up in the ceiling. And then I used an aftermarket kit that kind of looks like the stock. It has a bracket looks like this with holes that go straight across, but with this bracket, I was able to make it mount straight. It has a full ball instead of a half ball, and it has a bezel with a notch cut in it, so it hangs down in that notch. And that worked out great for my ceiling fan on a 45 roof pitch. For the ceiling fans in my kids' rooms, where they're sitting on the ceiling, I believe it's a 30-degree roof pitch, I put this bracket, this metal bracket up there without the extra pieces, just bolted that bracket to the thing in the ceiling. I used the stock bracket so that the bezel would bolt right on there. And I used this so it would hang at more of an angle. So I'd get that angle. And then it has this notch cut out to go around the stock bezel. It's a whole lot of pieces. I just kind of pieced it together the best I could, figured out which pieces from which kit worked. But I think the main thing was getting this piece right here so that I could make any one of these brackets sit level on the ceiling so that it would allow it to hang the correct way. No matter which rod or bezel or piece you used, everything hung straight up and down. We've got one more ceiling fan to do. It's in my daughter's bedroom. I've got to redo it. It's hanging with all the stock brackets right now. I'm gonna get in there, take it down, put this bracket up on the ceiling, put this in there so it hangs, has a little bit more swivel to it. Shouldn't take too long at this point. I've got it all figured out. I pretty much know what I'm doing now. I hope this helps somebody out if they're looking to hang a ceiling fan on a 45-degree pitch. I don't know why these brackets that you put in between your rafters don't have the bolts straight across so your ceiling fan bracket can go straight on it, or why your ceiling fan bracket has bolts straight across when they need to be at an angle. I don't know too many places that have ceiling fans that just bolt straight to a flat ceiling anymore. A lot of ceiling fans are bolted to vaulted ceilings. Anyway, hope this is some information somebody can use out there. Until next time, go make something.